In this video, I'll be reading the supplemental essay that got me into Harvard University and going over some tips that could help you when starting your supplement writing process. So if that's your speed, stick to the end of this video. Woo! Hey everyone, welcome to JSpace. I'm Jordan Sanchez and this is my first video. Harvard University supplement prompt. You may wish to include an additional essay if you feel the college application forms do not provide sufficient opportunity to convey important information about yourself or your accomplishments. You may write on a topic of your choice, or you may choose from one of the following topics. You can pick something from that list, or you could write something completely different. I wrote something completely different. There is also no word limit, so that's important. Now onto the part people actually care about. My prompt that I gave to myself, I don't know if I submitted it with the little my prompt, I think I did, but it was, what is something you have always wanted to do? I was a professional makeup artist at age 7. My hours were limited to daily recess and after-school playdates in the park. My specialty was dramatic, prom-themed looks. With limited funds, my primary medium was sidewalk chalk dust. My associate, and later best friend, was the best chalk crusher in the business, and I had the pleasure of having her as my primary makeup vendor. Every day, my fellow third graders would line up to get their eyelids carefully dusted with blue and orange chalk dust. Jordan's Looks was a hit until Oh Yeah replaced it. Oh Yeah was a musical duo consisting of my trusty chalk dust supplier and I. Our original song, Save Me, was self-written and produced. We planned to debut in the spring of 4th grade, giving us the entire winter to solidify our performance. We went from single to double threats when choreographing a dance routine to Run the World by Beyonce 2011. As a singer and dancer, I felt unbreakable. The world was my oyster, and I was ready to harvest every pearl, even the ones that weren't spelled correctly. As a 5th grader with a successful small business and music group, I did the only thing left for me to do: write. On a school bus ride home, I created a fashion magazine called Blue Skies, skies spelled S-K-Y-S. Our assets were sealed in a painted-over shoebox donated to us by our only sponsor, Dad. My spare time went into drafting magazine layouts, sketching lookbooks, and arbitrarily declaring what was hot and what was not. After school, I made a website. Blue Skies was ready to take on the internet, until I realized skies was spelled incorrectly the entire time. How embarrassing. Maybe I should stay away from writing, I thought, so I did for a while. In 6th grade, I hit the ground running as a nail technician. The end of the lunch table was mine. Lined with napkins and half-empty nail polish bottles, everyone knew not to mess with Jordan's corner because she meant business. My skills were confined to base coats and poorly painted flowers, but the limited supply and high demand kept business booming. Soon I outgrew childish nail designs and stepped into a new ballpark: manufacturing. I was a triple threat in a double sense: duct tape products, rainbow loom bracelets, and handmade earrings. As the only business of mine requiring financial investment, this industry was daunting to join at first. However, my worries were silenced when I started to see quarters and dollar bills flow into my pockets. After making a grand total of $7.50, I shut down my business in fear of the demand for duct tape wallets exceeding the time I was willing to invest in creating them. Since 8th grade, I've sat back and waited for the right opportunity to start a business. A real one this time. The opportunity presented itself in autumn 2018. The Queen Next Door, my beauty pageant and lifestyle blog, had just passed 1,500 views and was starting to take space in the pageant community. At every pageant I've attended since the start of the Queen Next Door in April 2018, I've been asked if I am, in fact, the Queen Next Door, and how in the world did I start such a thing? The Queen Next Door, though small then, had the potential to grow even more, but how? To answer that question, I consulted elementary and middle school Jordan, who responded with, "You should try fashion again, but spell everything right this time." Within the next few weeks, I spent countless hours and $2,221.10 on my online boutique launching on March 1st. Harvard College Admissions Officer. When you see a 4-foot-tall package in the mailroom, do not be alarmed. It is only the inventory of a little girl finally realizing her dream of founding something in this great big world. She has grabbed onto it with both hands, and, as tightly as her hold is, you can see she never plans to let go. Forever in my grip and always running in my mind, this is the Queen Next store. Oh, wordplay. So that was my Harvard essay. It was 694 words. There was no strict word limit. So this lighting is messed up. It's fine. We're just gonna live with it. So now I'm gonna give you guys some tips and take you through the process that I went through when it came to writing my Harvard University supplement, as well as just the other supplements I did in general, because I wrote a lot. My first tip is to be consistent. And you're probably like, Jordan, what in the world does that mean? So I'm going to tell you right now. When I say be consistent, I mean showcase the same kind of themes throughout your entire application, even if it's not the same story over and over and over again, because it shouldn't be. You shouldn't repeat yourself in your application, or if you do, because I did a little bit, then make sure you're showing a different side of yourself. In general, when it comes to the college application process, your character should be made more and more clear and defined as the application goes on. So your activities show a part of you, your Common App essay shows a part of you, your supplement should show a part of you. Like, all of these things come together to form this picture of who the admissions committee thinks you are, because obviously they can't know everything about you. For example, my Common App essay was about the blog I started called The Queen Next Door, and how that came as a result of me overcoming adversity in my school. And my Harvard essay, as you just heard, was about me starting the Queen Next Door and the development of that. Both of these have the unifying theme that I'm not afraid to start something, and that I won't let the environment around me deter me from my dreams and doing what I want to do. So yeah, that first tip is to be consistent and show that although you're a multifaceted person and you're a three-dimensional character, you do have some values that kind of align you throughout the entire college process, because they're gonna want to remember you as one or two things. So you want to make sure those one or two things are really good. So the second tip is really cliche, and it's to stand out. And I know that's so much easier said than done, but the easiest way to stand out is to be as authentically yourself as you can, because no one has the same story as you. No one has the exact same story as you, okay? Even if there are maybe some overarching themes that are pretty similar. For me, I am a Black girl that wants to go in STEM, and I've existed in predominantly white spaces my entire life. And that was kind of what my Common App essay was about. And I know there are a billion little Black girls who want to go into STEM who exist in predominantly white institutions. And that's just a fact that you have to deal with. There will be a lot of other kids who have the same overarching theme. Maybe you live in a single parent household, and you and your parent have gotten really, really close or something like that. And that's been a huge part of your life. There are a lot of people with that same kind of story, but only you can turn it in a way or twist it in a way that's really authentic to you and is very specific to you. So yeah, you just want to be very specific in your story that you want to tell. So the second and probably most obvious way to stand out when it comes to specifically Harvard supplement and any other colleges that have open-ended supplements like that is to just write something or respond to a prompt that isn't on the list. Write your own prompt, because one, you just eliminated the vast majority, 99% of the applicant pool, from kind of competing with you directly, because you two have very different essay topics, allowing you to show different elements of yourself. So that's a very easy way. If I'm an admissions officer and I'm reading all these essays like dear future roommate, it gets kind of annoying, but it's really refreshing when I come across an essay that writes about whatever they want to write about. So yeah, that's pretty cool. And with that being said, don't be afraid to use one of their prompts. Major key in the college process in general, and this is going to be really controversial, but don't be afraid to reuse essays. Like that Harvard essay that I just read was from my University of Chicago application. Like reusing essays is not a terrible thing. It's actually a time saver and you're gonna end up doing it regardless, so don't hate, join. If you're reusing an essay, just be sure that it's relevant. Like for the University of Chicago, it was basically like write whatever you want, and then for this Harvard essay, it's like write whatever you want. So because those two prompts like align and they're basically the same in that they're like incredibly open-ended and vague, you can do that. But if I write a why I want to go to Barnard essay and submit it to Amherst, that's not gonna fly, it's not gonna be cute. The admissions officers can see right through that. So when it comes to having these open-ended prompts, you can kind of treat it like a second Common App essay. So find a story that you want to share and then share. Like if you had another Common App essay idea that your teacher shot down or something, or someone shot down, just be like, you know what, I'm gonna write about this because I want to write about it, and yeah. And like Harvard will take it and U Chicago will take it. So yeah, stand out. And those stories that you like really genuinely want to share that you haven't had the chance to tend to be very well written and very uniquely yourself, which help you stand out. In summary, tip number 2 is to stand out. 1, by truly being yourself in the most authentic way you can, being very specific about your situation, giving anecdotal examples. Or 2, writing your own prompt, writing and responding to your own prompt, because that already eliminates like most of the applicant pool, because they're not writing about what you're writing about. And if the admissions office is like, wow, remember that kid who wrote about starting their own business and being a business person since they were like 7 years old, they're gonna be like, wow, that's cool, and I want to remember that. So my third and final tip for this video is to take a risk. Don't be afraid to take risks on the college, like in the college application process. The first thing when it comes to taking a risk, at least now in this point, is primarily your essays, because you can't take a risk in your transcript, your SAT, your GPA. Like you can't take a risk in any of those things, but you can in essays. And that helps you stand out. Ooh, connecting the dots. Taking a risk looks different for everyone. Like obviously for me, it took the shape of writing something that wasn't obviously expected, like that wasn't on the prompt list. And doing this shows that 1, you're courageous and brave, because no one does that. 2, it helps you stand out. And 3, it also develops your character and the kind of risk you want to take. If I am writing my essay on how I'm not afraid to start my own business with my saved up birthday money, then it kind of makes sense that I'm not afraid to take a risk and write about whatever I want in the college essay. Like it just stays consistent with that branding, and the admissions officers will be like, oh wow, this is a girl who loves doing what she does and is not afraid to do what she does regardless of what the people around her are doing. And that kind of person will contribute to the community, and that's what all of these essays and your whole application is about, how you'll contribute to the campus community. Also, some other ways you can take risks in your essays is 1, like doing your own prompt, only if it's allowed. 2, taking one of their prompts and kind of flipping it on its head, like spinning it in your own way. Or 3, directly addressing the admissions officer. I did that at the end of my essay, as you heard, and I thought it worked well. It worked well for me. I also used that technique in my Cornell essay, in my Cornell University Human Ecology essay, and I also got in there. So yeah, it works. Like if that's not who you are, if that's not your kind of like vibe, then don't do it. But just know other people have done it and it's worked for other people. So just to summarize tip number 3 of taking a risk, it helps you be more memorable, and the best place to take risks is in the essay writing process. Do your own prompts, like completely have your own spin on one of their prompts, or directly address the admissions officer. Like, all of those things I think are really cool, and I've tried all of them and they worked out pretty well. So in summary, because we all love a full circle story video, whatever. Tip number 1, be consistent with your personal brand in the college application process, because you only get to show the admissions officer a very small side of you, and you want it to be a good, strong side. Tip 2 is to stand out. Just be yourself. Be very specific with your stories. Share the stories that you want to share. And tip number 3, don't be afraid to take a risk, because oftentimes they pay off. So yeah, this is the first video in my How I Got Into Harvard series. Obviously this one was about essays. I will be doing more videos on my stats, like my GPA, just my course load in general, SATs, SAT 2 subject tests, all of that fun stuff. And then I'll probably be doing another video going through my Common App, like going through my extracurricular activities. And I'll do one on my Common App essay and how to start writing your Common App essay. So I hope this video was really helpful. Comment down below what is the most confusing part for you in the college process, and I'll try to make a video on it, because I know I was really confused, especially when it came to SAT 2s and interviewing. I did 8 interviews for colleges, which is a lot. So if you have any questions on that, leave them down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like if you want, like if it was helpful. And I'll speak to you all in my next video. Peace.